Hello, people of the interwebs. My name is Cameron, and I am back to do a review of The Devouring by Simon Holt. So I talked a little bit about this book back in my Best Books of 2012 video. If you haven't seen that video yet, just click my first and it will bring you straight to that video. Go ahead, click it, you know you wanna. But in that video, I briefly just told my thoughts over the book, and I said that I loved it, and I do. It's an amazing book, and I just wanted to go ahead and do a full review on it to kind of give you a bit more in-depth thought on the book itself. Basically, the story follows a 16-year-old girl whose name is Reggie, and Reggie lives with her dad and her little brother Henry, and Reggie kind of has to take care of Henry all the time because her mother had left years ago when Reggie was just really young. And Reggie also has a friend named Aaron, and both of them are really into horror, horror movies, scary stories, all that jazz. One day, Reggie finds a book in the bookstore that she's working in called The Devouring, and it's basically a journal told from the perspective of a girl who lived years ago, and she writes of these things called the Vowers. And it's said that these Vowers are basically creatures that can possess you during a time when you're really scared, and they feed off that fear and take over your body. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to spoil anything because this book is really, really awesome, and it's super freaky, and if you get scared easy, I probably wouldn't recommend this book to you. However, if you like horror like I do, you're gonna love this book. The story is fairly original. It's horror, so there's always going to be certain cliches here and there, but it's kind of a traditional feeling horror story without being too predictable, and still being modern and original in its own way. The characters are really good. I like Reggie. I think she's kind of your typical 16-year-old girl, but she's got a really good head on her shoulders. Knows right and wrong, and she's strong, and she's had to be strong since her mother left. I really like her character in this book. I also like her friend Aaron. He's kind of a fearful guy, but in the end he is able to gather up that courage to do what he thinks is right. And I love the concept of the Vowers. I think they are very creepy, very menacing. They definitely play a very good villain in the story. There are some extremely creepy scenes in this book, and some very gruesome scenes to where things can get a little bit messed up in a way, but it's horror, so you're gonna have to expect that. There's a certain section that takes place in a carnival. I love books and movies, anything that has to do with circuses and carnivals. It's kind of a thing for me. And the section that the carnival takes place in this book is the creepiest part for me. It was extremely descriptive and very dreamlike and eerie, and it's definitely my favorite part of the whole book. It was just amazing. So that's really all I want to say about this book. I think you should check it out if you like horror. If you are worried you're going to get too afraid, I wouldn't pick it up, because I know there's some people who got really freaked out by this book, and I don't blame them. I can see why. Even if I didn't get scared, I could see other people getting scared. It's also a very short book, so it doesn't take long to read. That's one thing I loved about it as well. It's very fast-paced, and I cannot wait to get the second and third book in this series. But it's a great book. Comes highly recommended. I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads, and it was one of my favorite books that I read in 2012. And in closing, there is a poem on the back of this book that kind of sums up exactly what you're getting yourself into when you're about to read this thing. I did read it in my Best Books of 2012 video. If you didn't see that video, I'm going to go ahead and read it for you, and if it tickles your interest, then I suggest picking this book up. When dark creeps in and eats the light, bury your fears on sorry night, for in the winter's blackest hours comes the feasting of the Vowers. No one can see it, the life they stole. Your body's here, but not your soul.